Jessie Jess Rose Clark makes her Muay Thai debut at Lion Fight this Saturday. Really looking forward to seeing your transition to Muay Thai. How did this come about?
Uh, I'm really excited for it too. Honestly, for the last couple of years, especially since I've been at Combat Sports Academy in Northern California, I've been wanting to fight Muay Thai. And I wasn't really ready to leave the UFC yet, but then when my contract ended, I felt like it was the perfect opportunity to try something new. I've done MMA for so long, I've been kind of burnt out on it for the last few years, so I'm excited to transition into a new sport.
What about mixed martial arts were you burned out about?
Honestly, like I'm 36 this year, just the preparation was getting harder and harder on my body. And I found myself not wanting to do it the way I used to. I started MMA because I just genuinely loved it. I loved fighting. I still love fighting. I love training. But it was just getting harder and harder to get up every day and convince myself that it was worth doing the training required for MMA. I still was doing it. Like I still was grappling, wrestling, doing everything I needed to, but it was just so difficult. My body has just felt so beat up over the last couple of years. I keep getting pretty big injuries, and it just got to the point where it didn't feel worth it anymore.
So, what's the biggest difference in terms of preparation for Muay Thai versus MMA that allows you to, I guess, not have to feel that same sort of burnout and same sort of wear and tear?
Honestly, not wrestling and doing jujitsu. That really was what was hardest on my body. All my injuries have come from wrestling and from jujitsu. So now that I'm just doing clinch, which I love to clinch, I do love to grapple, but now that I'm not actually going to the ground anymore, I don't really have to worry about picking up people's body weight. I don't have to worry about my joints getting extended, anything like that. It's been so much easier. This might be the first camp that I've gone through in maybe 6 or 7 years where I haven't been injured.
How do you mentally get through having fights in the UFC when you're I guess not 100% in at that time? If you are feeling burnt out, not to say that you weren't mentally 100% in, but in terms of your body being broken down and things of that nature.
I honestly wasn't mentally 100% in either because I was just so tired of being injured. After I had my elbow dislocated last year, I was about to retire then from MMA, and I said to my coach while we were still in the cage, I was like, "No, I'm done," because I told myself that if I sustained another severe injury, I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm so tired of fighting once a year because I keep getting injured. Then I have to worry about rehabilitation. Then I don't make any money. Then it just yeah, I don't know. It was really hard to convince myself to take that last fight, the fight in May. But it was also the last fight on my contract, so I felt like I needed to do it to even be given the opportunity to go and try something else.
Did you try to ask for your release or anything along those lines beforehand and see if they'd let you explore other opportunities in combat sports?
No, I didn't want to deal with it. Like I kind of wanted a clean break. Like I just wanted to finish out my contract and go, you know. I never even thought to ask for a release, honestly, because I felt like I still needed to do that one. Obviously, it would have been cool to leave the UFC on a win. Like I wasn't obviously planning on losing, but my intention was always to not re-sign with them anyway. But I did want to finish out my contract.
So, what are you looking to do for the remainder of your combat sports career? How much longer do you think you're going to be doing this for?
I still got, if I'm doing just striking, I definitely have a few more years. There are some things that I would love to experience. I'd love to go fight cage Muay Thai in the 4 ounce gloves in ONE FC. I think that would be amazing. I'm planning on making my pro boxing debut either later this year or early next year as well. So I kind of, for the last few years, I've really been wanting to try my hand at boxing and Muay Thai. And so I'm just planning on doing both until it makes sense to compete in just one.
So, you're focusing just on stand up arts. You're not really looking to do anything that has grappling involved.
Nah, I mean, unless it was like a really great MMA opportunity, maybe if I could go over to Risen or something like that and fight MMA with them, I would consider it again. But it really doesn't interest me anymore. I've always loved kickboxing. Kickboxing was the first sport that I ever did, the first sport that I competed in. That was what got me involved in MMA. So I'm actually just really excited that I can focus on the thing that I generally love to do and not have to do all this extra stuff that I don't enjoy just to try to make a paycheck.
Well, I know your coach Kieran Fitzgibbons has a lot of connections in kickboxing. Joe Valtellini, who I've worked with in the past, is somebody who often comes over there and does seminars. So I know that's kind of near and dear to his heart as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's easily one of the best Muay Thai coaches in North America. I'm jealous. I've always really wanted to train with Bazooka Joe, and I haven't had the chance to meet him or train with him yet. But yeah, no, coach is pretty excited that I'm making this transition to striking sports in general, but obviously to Muay Thai because I think that's where his heart is as well.
Well, come down to Toronto. Joe would probably love to have you at the gym.
Yeah, I would. I've always loved his style. I actually would love to get up there to train with him.
I actually compared the fight recently between Sean Strickland and Israel to Joe's fight against Raymond Daniels, where
Yeah,
if you can drown someone with pressure, it's something that can work from time to time.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree with that.
Did you happen to watch this past Saturday's event? I know your former weight class, the championship was on the line. Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso going head to head. A bit of a controversial decision.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched a UFC event since before I left the UFC. I only really watch if it's one of my teammates, like if it's Gaston Bolaños or Andre Fili. They're pretty much the only people that I watch fight these days in the UFC.
Well, Gaston is an incredible striker. I'm glad that he's in the UFC, and I'm excited to see what he gets done.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. It's been a long time coming.
So your opponent this weekend, Karen Cedillo, do you know much about her?
I don't. I know she's been fighting MMA. I know she has been wanting to do some striking sports. I think we come from pretty similar backgrounds, so I don't know a whole lot about her. I actually didn't know who I was fighting up until probably last week. I'm just excited that I have someone, to be honest.
Well, you're talking about the different stand-up arts, and seemingly a lot of fighters, once they're done with the UFC, go over to bare knuckle. Is that of any sort of interest to you?
Oh no, not at all. They would have to offer me a cool 500,000 to even consider fighting for them.
A half mil. So where did you get that number from? A 500,000? Is that like basically like I'll do any sort of combat sports competition for that amount of money?
No, if someone wants me to fight without gloves on and risk getting cut and damage like that on my face when I'm trying to be in television and entertainment beyond fighting, it needs to be the paycheck needs to be worthwhile.
So that's interesting. So you're looking to do things on camera as well, like acting. Do you have a talent agent or anything along those lines?
Well, so I already do a lot of camera work. I film for Harley Davidson every month. I've done a lot of presenting, a lot of hosting. I'm trying to get a lot more on camera work. I am reading for a couple of movies later this year and earlier next year. So I've been on a couple of other like home renovation TV shows. So that's kind of that's where I'm planning on going beyond fighting.
Yeah, so that's kind of the next direction, the next stage of your life, I guess, is doing TV and movies, I guess, is probably what you're mostly looking to do.
Yeah, mostly like hosting and presenting. I don't necessarily want to do character roles. I will because I've never done it, so I'm excited to experience that. But I do really love being able to be myself on camera and kind of put my personality across. And I don't really want to have to do an American accent, so I think hosting and presenting is what I'm leaning towards more.
Why would they make you do an American accent? They don't want to have people with cool Australian accents in their movies and TV?
Well, so far, all the ones that I've been asked to read for have said I can keep an Australian accent. But my acting agent has told me that I should learn how to do an American one, but it's not very appealing, to be honest.
Well, from the amount of Bluey that my kids watch, I'm worried they're going to start developing an Australian accent. They love watching that show.
You're actually not the first person I've heard that from. I have a few friends with kids who watch that show who then tell me that their kids say, like, either speak with an Australian accent or say a lot of Aussie things because of that show.
Well, I was with the crew from Fox Sports Australia during International Fight Week. I said, don't take this the wrong way, but you guys remind me of my kids because the only time I hear Australian accents this consistently is at my home when they're watching Bluey.
That's awesome. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay. Hey, it's a great show. I mean, the people behind Bluey are fantastic showrunners or show creators for whatever you want to call them because the messages in that show are very, very wholesome, and I like that.
Yeah, I've actually never watched it. I get sent stuff from Bluey all the time because I have two blue healers, but I've actually never watched it. I don't have kids, so I haven't really had a reason to watch it.
So you have two blue healers. So, I mean, this is just all coming full circle right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I get sent Bluey stuff all the time because they're the dogs that I have. I have them tattooed on me a couple of times and they're with me every day.
So are blue heelers there? Is that like an Australian breed of dog? Like, did you bring them with you from Australia?
Well, the breed is Australian cattle dog, and then there's blue heelers and red heelers are two different versions of it. I got mine in the US because they use a lot. That breed is used a lot on the ranches in Texas. So there are a few out here. They're not super common, but there are a few in the US.
So did you get them because it reminds you of being, or I guess Australia as a whole?
Yeah. Well, that's the breed that I kind of grew up with, you know. So originally I was going to get a pit bull or a bully, and then I don't really know that breed, and then I found my first blue heeler in Vegas, and realized like I love that breed. I grew up with them. I've always been around them, and yeah, and they do remind me of home. But I get homesick, you know. I've been here for a long time.
Well, our dog is almost 15 years old, and I worry when she passes, my kids are going to want us to get a blue heeler because of Bluey. So we'll see if they
They're a
outgo the
great
show
dog.
before the dog dies.
I mean, they're a great dog to get. They're a great dog to get.
I need a hypoallergenic dog personally, but that's my own problem, not theirs.
Yeah, that's valid. That's fair though. That's a fair decision to make.
Well, this conversation has veered into interesting territory, and I like that. But I appreciate your time, Jesse, and best of luck in the Muay Thai world. And looking forward to seeing whatever is next for you. And hopefully, we'll see you on TV and movies and as a presenter a lot in the future as well.
I mean, that's the plan. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.